I think the government should legally mandate it for every single person to make 10,000 cold calls. Why should you listen to me? My name's Brennan Wiersma. I'm an airline pilot. I went to school and got into a bunch of student debt. I became an expert in my own personal finance, and I'm sharing the tips and tricks that have helped me significantly pay down that debt. If you find this interesting, feel free to watch more. If not, carry on. So I made 10,000 phone calls, probably more, over the course of a few years while I was trying to find off market real estate deals. And I'll tell you, the number one thing you learn is not necessarily sales. And honestly, it carries over into way more than just calling strangers to sell a service or a product. The skills that you learn from 10,000 phone calls can help you in so many areas in your life. The first thing is rejection stops hurting. Those first 100 phone calls feel like personal attacks. Every single one feels like an insult directly to your soul. But after that, you become emotionally detached and you realize they're not saying no to you. They're saying no to what you were saying or what you were offering. Those are two very completely different things. And once you realize this, you realize you either need to change your offer or you need to pull the lottery wheel again and just wait until you hit. The next thing is it forces you to learn consistency, because I'll tell you one thing that you never feel like doing is getting on the phone and calling strangers to be insulted for hours. Nobody wants to do that. And so when you have something that you are guaranteed every single time to not feel like doing, and you force yourself to do it, it builds this consistency muscle that hardens you so that you can do things that are much easier, way more effortlessly. Fourth thing is that sales is really just solving problems. You're casting a wide net trying to find somebody that is actually the person you're supposed to be talking to. That's why you go through so many people just to find the right person that you actually have any business trying to sell a service or a product to. Because most of the people, it's actually not the right thing. And so when you tell them your spiel or whatever it is, they might be like, no, dude, I don't care at all about your ice sculpture of a kitten. Why would I want that? I like dogs. Say that's what you're selling, but that's a stupid example. But not everyone wants to sell their house for cash at a discount because everyone's house isn't dilapidated and they aren't going into foreclosure and X and this and that. So everyone is not meant to be the person you're talking to. That's why you're sifting through, like trying to find gold. Number 5 is similar to the other ones, but it's just the mantra that every no gets you closer to a yes. And especially if you're dealing with something like high ticket, like I was wholesaling real estate. So you get a property under contract for, let's say, $100,000. And if it was all fixed up, it'd be worth $200,000. Well, you could wholesale that contract to somebody else for like $120,000. So you would make $20,000, right? That's potentially the stakes that you're dealing with on these phone calls. And so if you realize that it's not about the no, it's about the yes. And you get data from doing 10,000 phone calls and you can figure out, okay, 200 phone calls equals one yes, and 100 yeses equals one closed deal, which is $20,000. So it completely changes the way that you look at it. And you can apply that into other categories of your life where it's just, if it's just over enough period of time and amount of attempts, you can collect data and you can create what's called key performance indexes that'll tell you how much of something you need to do to get X result. The next thing is it teaches you an insane amount of communication skills. So when you're talking to so many different strangers, you're not talking to one type of person. A lot of people would like to follow a script and do word by word robotic. That's not going to get you results. You're not going to make it to 10,000 phone calls. What you have to do is adjust your conversation to the person that you're talking to. There's a book out there, I forget what it's called and what all the colors are, but the point is people have different colors, like a red personality. It's not someone that you want to be like all like soft with. They need to be directly to the point. You need to match their firmness and their toughness in order for them to respect you, to be able to hear what you're going to say. Otherwise, they're going to walk all over you. You're not going to be able to get a word out and the conversation's going to be over right there. Whereas someone that's a green type personality, you have to understand that you can't force that person into making the decision. They're analytical. They need to understand. You need to be very calm, not abrasive, and breaking things down with them in a way that they can understand, they can process, and you might actually need to follow up with that person instead of closing them on the phone. The next thing you realize is that most people quit way too early. When things start to suck really bad, that's when most of the people quit. And then when you know that and you keep going, and then you get rewarded for keep going, it's a self-fulfilling cycle where now you understand that it's supposed to be hard. Hard is the entry point. You don't even get to the starting line without getting to the point where it's extremely uncomfortable. And the last thing is, like anything in life, compounding takes effect. I think it's, who has this quote? It might be Charlie Munger. It might be Albert Einstein. I think it's Albert Einstein. Compounding is the eighth wonder of the world. And he's saying that in not necessarily a financial sense, because this applies to your own personal life. If you do 100 phone calls, you're no longer starting from zero in the next 101th phone call. You're building off of the last 101 phone calls you make. And then the next 100 after that, you're building on the first 100. So your skill is compounding. So when you get to 10,000 phone calls, you are now improving with the history and the knowledge and the power of all of that previous work. Just like in a stock market, when you invest $1,000, the market's going to go up. It's going to get to this hockey stick shape where it goes up 10%. Well, now you have $1,100, and now 10% of that is even higher and higher and higher, and this compounding effect takes place. Well, that applies to you as well with the skills that you build. So anything that you do, just like me making these stupid videos, I suck at them kind of, but imagine I'm doing every single one of these every single day. 7 a.m. one goes up. The last one is compounding from the first one. So these are all skills that translate into every component of your life. And I think everybody watching this video should find something, particularly a high ticket thing. And for a certain period of time, they should trade their time for money, cold calling, talking to strangers, getting their teeth kicked in, and learning some of those skills that can change your life. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. You can become one of the elite 10 subscribers that I have right now. And if you want to get to know me more or network on a higher level, I have a free Skool community where you can sign up for, and we do a millionaire coffee hour every single week. My buddy Justin Canberra, he's a high net worth individual, high level insights inside of there. There's free master classes, resources, and I'll do a budget setup call or a finance review for you, where basically we just look at your situation. I tell you exactly what I would do if I was you, and it's completely for free on the house. So if you want to sign up, the link is going to be in the description, and I really appreciate you watching this video. We'll see you in the next one.